Hello everyone and welcome to FiST Chat, the vodcast that features discussions on the topics of film, science and technology. My name is Ben Warner and I'm joined once again by my good friend and colleague Steve Kern. How are we today, Steve? We're not looking at sticking injections into our forehead to get rid of the wrinkles yet, are we?
Hello FiST Chat fans. Hello Ben. I'm just not showing any emotion. Nothing to do with Botox.
That's right. Therapy does that to you, doesn't it? So don't forget our website, www.fistchat.com. You can get all our links there. You can watch all of our back episodes on YouTube, Vimeo, and Digicosm TV. And you can subscribe to our audio via RSS, iTunes, and FeedBurner. And make sure to check out all our supplementary content blogs and all the other stuff we've got on there. It's all good. I can vouch for it. We both can vouch for it. All right. Now, we were talking a bit about health last week and how we eat and, the no added sugar diets and all of that. Now we're going to sort of segue into a different part of maybe health, maybe even psychology, really. And this is to do with Botox and cosmetic surgery and its impact on people. And just to kick this off, Discovery News had this interesting little piece where basically they were saying that nearly 14 million Americans underwent cosmetic procedures in the previous year. And injections of Botox were up 5% from the year before. And a major chunk of the recipients of these procedures were people in their 30s and 40s, and many of them had children, which raised the question, does Botox affect relationships between parents and children? Interesting conclusions that they drew there, that because the Botox affects your facial expressions, because, I don't know, maybe injecting a poison into your head might have something to do with it. But if you're showing less emotion, then your kids are picking that up, and maybe that will affect them psychologically. I hadn't actually heard it from this angle before. So what do you think about that, Steve?
Well, it's very interesting, Ben. I mean, thank God it's people in their 30s and 40s going for Botox and not people younger. But
we're getting there, aren't we? I mean, weren't they in their 50s and 60s?
we are indeed. But I guess the big thing here is that, we've all seen television presenters who can't crack a smile, or their faces have sort of like ballooned like pumpkins.
Yeah.
It just isn't the fake tan. It's probably Botox as well.
Yeah.
As for emotions, well, really 80% of what we say is perceived visually by people.
Yep.
So I guess removing like the ability to express yourself because your face is paralyzed because of Botox may well impede the way that people communicate. But, perhaps people have so little to say anyway, especially those who've been Botox, that maybe it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely. Just picking up another thing in here, one of the comments that was said here, it says facial expressions for parents and young children are really critical in the way they communicate with each other and intentions, whether angry, sad, happy, whatever. And that's because there's a complex array of muscles that go into making facial expressions, even though we don't really think about it on a day-to-day basis in that way. So if you're undergoing a procedure, and this isn't just Botox, it can be plastic surgery, whatever, and it's to be clear, we're talking about plastic surgery that isn't about repairing any damage you sustained to an accident.
We're talking cosmetic surgery,
We're talking cosmetic surgery, that's right. It's going to limit your facial expressions, and as such, the amount of it's literally the amount of information you're conveying is reduced. And is this sort of like the people are doing this to make themselves feel better? But if it's not showing, then what's the point?
Well, that's a good point. Look, for children under 1 year of age, most of their mental processing power is actually in facial recognition and the recognition of expressions. So it may well be the case that if people's faces are paralysed by Botox and they can't express emotion or show joy in particular to their children, that they may be robbing them of something. But communication's changing so markedly now, with technologies like we're using now, like mobile communications where they're not they're kind of face-to-face, but not real world face-to-face. I would say that, even if you look at the way people are communicating through Twitter and even text has been changing the way we communicate. So this is just probably another part of that. I don't know what it's going to be like another 30 years.
Be a different world, no doubt. But if we bring in we've got our little Diet to Try It website where we're talking about doing diets and that. But if you expand that out to doing exercise as well, and just that the healthy living kind of options, wouldn't that be a better avenue to go down? Than it's a more that would probably hold you together more, so to speak, for longer, rather than trying to take a more artificial route as far as this is concerned. Because Botox is just it's like the easy solution. Just stick it in and you'll be right. Kind of thing.
Look, I think Botox is actually already old technology. You're kind of right, I guess. Perhaps we are talking about people with a predilection for vanity. Obviously, if you look after yourself, you look younger for longer, but we cannot beat age. We can't beat the effect that has on our genes. And our skin is the most obvious sign of aging, as are, our eyesight going, or receding hairlines, or teeth going missing, or sagging breasts or butts or whatever. Pardon me. But what will happen is, for now, you can go under the knife, or you can have some Botox, and that'll slow it down. But there's regenerative medicine, which in another 20 years or so will probably be very much a reality. It's based on stem cell techniques, which will allow you to regenerate hair if it's gone missing, fix your eyesight, fix your teeth, fix your skin, fix your liver, fix your lungs, fix whatever you need to fix. So that will really revolutionise things. Can you imagine, Ben, in maybe another 60 or 70 years, you won't be able to tell a 20-year-old from a 60-year-old? What then?
What's going to happen then? At least it opens up all opportunities for so many people.
Instead of 20-year-olds lying about their age, it'll be 60-year-olds lying about their age. And how will you know? Is everyone going to have to swap driver's licenses or Facebook accounts?
Maybe by then we'll have barcodes on our arms, so maybe we'll be able to scan each other or something.
That's right.
Just finally on this main topic we've got here, you mentioned before about how this predilection for Botox hasn't gone to younger than 30.
Well, you don't need it younger than 30. Honestly, you don't need it at that age.
Well, I hope this isn't true, because the last bit in this Discovery News article says, whether influenced by their parents or not, more teenagers are getting plastic surgery too, often in response to bullying. In 2001, more than 16,000 kids aged 13 to 19 received Botox injections, according to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, up 20% from the year before. That was 11 years ago. So,
yeah, well, look, the thing about medical technologies is this, that they start off and they're very expensive. So 20 years ago, pardon me, 20 years ago, if you didn't like an aspect of your looks, there wasn't really much you could do. Over the last 20 years, the techniques have become a lot easier, a lot more advanced. And cosmetic surgery for everyone has become possible. And basically all you have to do is save up and you can have it. It's a trip to Europe or a trip to the surgeon. And, parents can probably afford, their poor bullied child to have this surgery. And I guess that's how this happens. It's accessible, it's affordable, and it's possible. I guess it doesn't really address the root causes of these, or does it really fix the bullying, or do you just get bullied for being the person that looks better after their cosmetic surgery? I don't know. So, but people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not good. Well, I guess just quickly, you and I, maybe we might need to do it as well, because, we're in front of the cameras now. We can't, maybe all we need to do is stop smiling through FiST chat. Just put the straight faces on to avoid all those wrinkles.
Well, that's right. Either that or just get some theatre grade makeup. Turn
Yes,
yourself.
that's the tricks of the trade that we can rely on.
That's right.
And
Either that, just rebrush our faces.
Absolutely. It's amazing what you can do with computers these days. All right, we'll move on to our news bites now. Now, our film news bite, there's a new film called Mental, an Australian film that's opening up. I believe it was last week, actually, starring Anthony LaPaglia and Rebecca Gibney. Now, this one's a bit different in terms of the topic. It's a comedy about, trying to shed light on mental illness. But the more interesting thing, I came across a little video interview with the two stars, and they were talking about bullying, and they had a little bit of a chuckle about Botox, with Anthony LaPaglia saying he's seen all sorts of interesting things in LA and celebrity Botox, which is always fascinating, that's maybe that's another cause of a problem too, is that celebrity culture's sort of tucked into the all this sort of thing, and a lot of people sort of are influenced by that because we are living in a celebrity culture.
Well, it's everywhere now, isn't it? I mean, celebrities are everywhere. Pictures of beautiful people are everywhere. Pictures of us are everywhere. Everyone wants to look good. Everyone thinks that they should look good. Everyone does everything they can to look good, and that includes cosmetic surgery. But it doesn't really fix how we feel on the inside, but maybe it fixes how we feel on the outside.
And the most disturbing thing of all is that there's an app for iPhones and probably for Android and whatever other smartphone, is that when you take a shot, you can actually I can't describe it exactly, but it's like airbrushing out all the imperfections in your skin. You just press
fantastic.
You just press a few buttons, and you can upload it straight to Facebook, and you look fantastic. And
what was the name of that app, Ben?
I think it's called More Butte or something like that.
I'm getting it immediately.
Absolutely. A few taps and you'll look great. All right, we'll move on to our science news bite. And this one's from medicaldaily.com. A common complaint about wrinkle reducer and muscle relaxant Botox is that it prevents people from showing their emotions, which we were talking about. But that complaint may be an asset for people with depression who have found treatment to be elusive. And what they basically go on to say there is that the flip side is that Botox might actually reduce depression.
Of course.
Because I guess it's making you feel good because you've gotten rid of all those wrinkles. I don't know. It's. I mean, when they're talking about a sample size of 30 people or something like that, I mean, if they're only doing it at that size, I mean, what can you gain out of that?
And it's a long, long bow to draw. Look, it gets back to the same old sorts of things. There are all sorts of wonderful things that you can do for yourself, but the reality is you might never have needed them in the first place if you looked after yourself in the first place.
Yeah.
That being said, mental illness is a serious, very serious subject, but I can't ever believe that treating it with Botox would be any help at all.
No, absolutely. All right, we'll move on to our final news bite, the tech news bite, and I like this one because it comes back to the old smartphones and apps again. From easier.com, medical experts at courthouse clinics believe the number of women in their 20s seeking Botox treatments is in part due to the rise of daily computer use and smartphone technology. And essentially, it's societal pressure to look eternally young, and because they're looking at a screen, and when you're looking at a screen you tend to frown, which causes frown lines, then out comes the Botox again.
It's very interesting because this is part of our new high-tech culture, and there's no doubt that there is a lot of pressure on everyone to look good in this day and age. You and I, Ben, are probably lucky enough to be in the last generation that's going to be allowed to look bad.
Yeah.
As I said, with the regenerative stem cell technologies, there's no doubt that probably children that are born today will have access to them in 20, 25 years. And you can imagine by then sort of the level of cosmetic surgery and what they'll be able to do, probably very easily and very simply.
Yep.
And if you use a stem cell technology, wrinkles will be gone, receding hairlines, all the hair treatments for baldness that we have today, all the treatments that are associated with age, which are really a little bit clumsy or actually involve sculpting or invasive procedures, probably won't be necessary. So we can only wonder. And I mean, what are we going to look like in 30 or 40 years as a species? Are we all going to look the same?
Possibly. At the very least, if we're going by that little piece there, maybe it's yet another reason to get out from behind your computer screen and get out into the sun for a while.
Yeah, well, that's right. But remember that 30-plus sunscreen with the nanoparticles. Only want to stay sun safe.
Absolutely. All right, Steve, we're out of time, so thanks again for the chat.
Yeah, anytime. Tweet us, FiST Chat fans. Let us know what work you've had done.
Absolutely. All right, so that's it for this week's episode, so we'll catch you next week.